Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about them trying to mess up my numbers because they're trying to draw my arguments into question. First of all, it is stupid to think that I'm wrong about the main things I've been arguing for years, especially when I've corrected my mistake on this in a reasonable amount of time, even though I have much more important issues than the American economy that I'm tackling, and masterfully. Secondly, the nature of income makes it so that there are no precise numbers. So I'm going to use the Congressional Budget Office's numbers because when it comes to peer-reviewed research, it doesn't get much better than that. However, the government has been waging unconventional warfare on the American people, and I know for sure. I've been making videos for 17 years. It'll be 17 years to the day in August, right? August 31st. And I haven't seen a shred of evidence that the government cares about the American people. They just wage complete warfare against the American people. There have been tens of millions of preventable deaths in America alone since I started making videos. And that's a result of them attacking Americans from different angles and trying to use the economy and trying to use various terrorist tactics to sexually enslave them. They put an extreme emphasis on sexual control. So when it comes to taxes on the rich, why aren't there already taxes? It's not very hard to come to the conclusion that you raise taxes, you end homelessness. Right? If you raise taxes by like 0.25%, 10 years ago, if they had raised taxes by 0.25%, there would have been no homelessness right now. With the right plan, with the right efficiency, with the right amount of oversight. So why didn't they do so? Because they hate the American people and they want them on their knees and they want them groveling because the governing class and the government do not care about the American people. They distract the American people and they abuse the American people. So I've found that the numbers that people tend to get are not reliable. And it is connected to the reason they refuse to hire more police. That's a story for another day, but it's connected. They just keep distracting people, keep saying, what will we ever do while they have 167 trillion plus in wealth with the top 50% and the ability to loan more money. And then there is the fact that as the dollar is devalued, it's easier for them to pay off the debt, and that factors in various ways. It's not entirely that simple, but that factors in various ways. So they're scaring people for no reason. There's robots coming soon. There are a lot of things that make it so it's a walk in the park for them to just cut the check, raise taxes, what have you. So according to the Congressional Budget Office, if we raise taxes on the top 10% by 1%, it would bring in 22 to 26 billion annually. Okay, so if we raise taxes by just 1% on the top 10%. Now if we raise taxes by 3% on the top 20%, okay, these people make a lot of money, right? They don't live paycheck to paycheck. The bottom 60% lives paycheck to paycheck, not the top 20%. So if we raise taxes by 3% on the top 20%, it would bring in 100 billion to 130 billion annually according to the Congressional Budget Office. Now these are the numbers I got from the artificial intelligence analysis that was chosen by Google. Okay, Google historically gives you the option to do peer-reviewed searches, what have you. And so they chose the artificial intelligence, and Google and the government are attached at the hips. So this is basically the information that the government gives through Google, which they back to the extreme, and the Congressional Budget Office. So if these numbers are wrong, it is their fault. And I've done a lot of research. I risked getting hacked, getting cyber attacked by clicking on certain things, trying to go the distance to get these numbers, which should be readily available already. They should already be raising taxes on the top 20% or so, and they should have ended homelessness, built rehabs, and spent at least $10 billion a year on more law enforcement, maybe another $2 billion for substations and equipment to make sure that the crime rate drops, and maybe another $1 or $2 billion for FBI agents. They didn't do that because they would rather see the American people suffer and they want to coerce people. They treat the American people like they treat immigrants. They say, well, this is your situation. You have two options. Right? In door A, you do things, the government's way, and this might happen. And door B, you don't do what they say, and this might happen. That is how they treat the American people as well. It's very sad that they didn't team up with the immigrants to take on the government and demand justice, but instead they bent over for the government like complete cowards. And people should never forget the failure we've seen here in America in the last 10 or 15 years especially.